Hello, Hozho staff. Welcome back, or sort of welcome back. This is a real strange way to start a school year. Never in any of our lifetimes have we seen anything quite like this. So it's going to be a challenge, but we're going to try to look at things as opportunities. Right? We're going to try to find the silver linings here in some ways to this crazy year. First, I want to welcome obviously all of you back and also our new staff. Normally we would have a nice breakfast right now. We'd be getting to know you, you'd be getting to know us. Strange that you may pass us at Walmart and not even know who we are because we haven't actually met in person. There'll be some opportunities for us to work in small groups, and slowly, hopefully, we can have some introductions as time goes on. It's kind of a strange way to start our year, but I want to welcome some new people. So Karen Garner is going to be working with us. She has been a principal in Gallup-McKinley Schools. She's done a number of things, and she's going to be working with our teachers, all of you, to help support you, help us all to become better instructors. So she's going to be serving in that sort of coaching support role. In kindergarten, let's just I'll give you all the class roster or role or whatever for staff, so you know everyone's kind of their duties or what have you. So in kindergarten, obviously Vanessa is still here. So Vanessa Ferguson's in kindergarten. Also Rihanna Witherall, she is our new kindergarten teacher, so welcome Rihanna. In first grade, we'll have Amanda Arnold still coming back to join us, and Tammy Irilu will be taking over another caseload in first grade. So welcome Tammy's also worked in Gallup-McKinley Schools. In second grade, Lorenzo is going to be taking on a class with support from Allegra Bisbee, Mrs. No, sorry. And also Pat Essig will be supporting some second grade. It also depends on how we're doing hybrid or if we're doing remote. So we don't need more than one teacher posting the same assignments in the same grade level. So we're trying to find different roles for people to play that make it more efficient. So Pat will be in second grade, and we even have somebody in the wings to come in and fill the role of classroom lead teacher and let Pat do some other things. But for right now, second grade is Pat Essig and Mrs. No and Lorenzo Guerrero. Third grade, we have Susan Wilson coming down from the fifth grade to teach third, and Elise Temkett is our new third grade teacher. So welcome Elise. Now we have two by the name of Elise in our school, so you have to be specific when you need to speak to an Elise. And also, we're grateful that Ethan Williams is still here with us. He's going to help us with third and fourth grade. So in fourth grade, we still have Zach Green, and we have Greg Gowdy, who has come to join us, moved here from Utah, and he has a niece who was in first grade last year, second grade this year, and I think there's a kindergartner coming in, but in a fifth grade, be going into sixth grade, I guess, another sibling. Those are his nieces, and their mother, then Greg Gowdy's niece's mother, is also going to be with us. Allison Gowdy, she is going to help us with our K2 art, and also she was a English teacher back in Utah for high school students, so she is going to help us with our middle school when we open and have kids coming in, because one teacher can't manage 150 students if we're having to come in at 5 or 10 at a time. And so that other teacher for English language arts will be Jenna Wida coming to us from Hillsdale, and many of you met her when she came down for a visit in the spring last year, before, like minutes before the schools were shut down. And also Elise Stefke will be helping with the 6th grade English language arts. So Jenna will be focusing on 5th and 7th. Elise will help with 6th because she taught 6th last year. And like we said, there's just too many kids coming in at one time. So we have to spread those duties out. So Elise is going to take 6th grade, and she's also going to take 5th through 7th history. And Ethan Williams also has his hand in that pot too. So he's going to be doing a couple of things working with Elise with our 5th through 7th grade history. My daughter Julia Hillick is joining us. She just graduated from U of A in Tucson and wants to go on to study to be a physical therapist, but this gap year in between, she's going to help us out and teach science for 5th through 7th grade, and possibly French too. So we'll see how that goes. See, there's our first opportunity, because normally we can only offer Spanish and Navajo because we don't have the classroom space or the time in our schedule for multiple choices. But this year we can offer French because they can access it online whenever they want and be able to have some extra opportunities students wouldn't otherwise have. First silver lining. Now in math for 5th and 7th grade, we have Amanda O'Leary. And in 6th grade math, we have Dan Wenning. Both of these teachers are coming to us from Gallup-McKinley schools and are experienced teachers, and I'm sure they're going to be great taking on Singapore math. One name you'll also see joining is Brenda Mike, is a new instructional assistant. Unfortunately, we can't bring her on until we actually have students coming to the school, but one day she will be working with us, and so we've sort of brought her. You may see her name from here and there, so that's why I'm mentioning her. So welcome to all of you, and welcome back to all of our friends from last year. I'm trying to do this video here at the school, and I'm the only one here, so the phone may ring, the bell may go off, something may happen, and I may have to pause our video at some random spot so that I can handle some other things going on. So just be aware, if this is in multiple videos, it's because that's life, and we're just rolling with it right now. So you should have your training schedule that should have hopefully been emailed to you, and you should have that by now. And so today we're going to go through a few of those items that are on that list, and you have some things that are for this afternoon. So for training, we're going to try to do as much remotely as we can. You're obviously free to come to the school, come to the classrooms if you need things, if this is where you prefer to work, you're welcome to come here. I'm not trying to keep you away, but to try to do a Zoom call with everybody on it, we couldn't see each other anyway. So I figured we'll just do videos, that way you can watch them when it's convenient for you, and hopefully in your pajamas and you're nice and comfortable. And we'll just go through the training items. Tomorrow is the only day that if you really want to come in, because the training is a little more challenging, and you decide that you really want that in-person support, tomorrow is the day for that. Joe will be here to go over Canvas, which is the new online platform that we will be using to post all of our assignments. So no Edmodo, no Class Dojo, and now we're working with Canvas. And Canvas is a platform that's a little more robust. It's designed for this purpose. I believe a few of the universities in New Mexico use Canvas, but it's a platform that we will use to post our assignments. And frankly, we'll try to do as much as possible through Canvas. We're going to try to have quizzes or responses or fill in the blanks or uploading documents or whatever has to happen through Canvas. So we want to avoid having assignments where students have to print something and fill it out. We're going to have to be creative about how we use Canvas and making sure that the things that we post are things like quizzes or activities that they can complete on Canvas. Now, I know that that puts us in some sort of a spot to know whether or not are the kids actually doing the work. I know. Are the kids or the parents doing the work? I know. It's going to be a challenge. So we're going to have to evaluate that, and it's probably going to vary from grade levels, and it also will vary from student to student. If we see a student who we knew was struggling before all of a sudden getting A's, that's something we're probably going to want to check in with more, maybe do a few Zoom calls and that sort of thing. And I'll get into more detail about using Canvas. But as far as training goes this week, tomorrow morning there's a sign up that Joe should have sent out or is sending out today, or if he hasn't already, that you can sign up to come in, and so you can sit with Joe and go over how to use Canvas. I think the most he can take is 10 in the morning and 10 in the afternoon. Or you can go through the videos that he will have posted or should have posted by now, or will post by tomorrow, that take you through how to use Canvas. He will do the nuts and bolts of how to do it electronically. You'll know how to do what you need to do in order to say, if I want to give a quiz, what do I have to do? If I want to post something, what do I have to do? If I want to share a link or upload a video, what do I have to do? He can take you through all of that. And it'll be between you and me and our admin staff and your grade level teams to talk about what activities should be posted and what students should be doing. I'll get into more of that in a little bit. So as far as training, most of it's online. You'll have deadlines. Now those deadlines are hard deadlines. I need you to meet those deadlines. If you find that you are struggling, tell me ahead of time and we'll get you some help or support to meet those deadlines. But there are things that have to be done and we can't monkey around, right? This year is going to be really tough as far as what's expected out of a teacher, what's expected out of a principal. Believe me, I am already aware that this is a challenging year. Often this year you're going to be expected to do things that normally you would not be expected to do. We're going to just have to roll with it. The thing is with working at our school is our school is based on customer service, right? Our enrollment. Your job is based on student enrollment. If we don't have the enrollment, then we don't need the teachers. So we need to keep the enrollment to keep our teachers. And we also want to grow our school because a majority of us have moved here to make our school successful. This isn't just another job. We really need to come together to make our school successful and put our school first. So it's not going to be fun. It's going to be really hard this year. Maybe we'll have fun, but it's mostly going to be hard. And we're just going to step it up because we can and we will, and our students deserve it. We want our school to be successful. So those deadlines, try to meet them or exceed them. And if you need help, don't hesitate. Please let me know if you need help. Rather than telling me after we don't meet the deadline that you needed help. So tell me right away if you need help with any of those deadlines. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda is new facility update. And I will show you in my hot little hand right here our set of keys. We finally closed on the building over at the Catholic Church. So Sacred Heart School, the Panther Gym, all of that whole complex is now owned by our foundation, which is Equitas, and Equitas has started a lease with us so that we can take over that building once the renovations are complete. When will the renovations be complete? I'm still holding out hope for December, January that they will be complete. A couple of the things that have held us back are obviously coronavirus, in that you have to set up appointments for all sorts of things, and nobody's in the office, and nobody can make it out here to do the things that need to be done because nobody is in, and everything takes 100 times longer than it should. So right now there's asbestos abatement preparation going on, and asbestos abatement will take about a month, and they have to do their thing, and then they let the dust settle, and then they come in and measure however they do that and make a determination of whether it's all the asbestos is out, and then they can start actual real renovations. So in the next month or so you could drive by and it will probably look the same, but soon it will start to look different. And once they get started, then we'll have a better idea about when we can go over there and start kind of getting our feet over there and foot in the door and start putting stuff away and that kind of stuff. So that will be exciting. It's exciting for our school. Another opportunity this year is that it would have cost us several $100,000 in order to put portables here at this campus in order to start our school year. But because of the coronavirus situation, we're able to save that money and put it towards the renovation. That's money that would have just been wasted on a portable that we would have only used for half the year. So I'm grateful that we could save that money and put it towards the renovations, something that will be more permanent for us over at the new location. There's the phone, but I'm gonna ignore it. Okay, parent-teacher conferences. So today you'll have a class list that will have a list of phone numbers for family members. So those, or email contacts. So you can start, I guess we would start with the email addresses in order to go to Sign Up Genius and set up an account, so that, or if we use Sign Up Genius, then I know that everybody's used the same thing. There's a lot of things out there that we're able to use. Hold on, I'm just gonna unplug this phone so that won't happen again. So you're gonna take that list and make a contact with that family. The list that you've been given is a list of students who are within your grade level span. So if you're a third grade teacher, those are third grade students. If you're a fifth grade teacher, those are or if you're the fifth grade math or fifth grade ELA or fifth grade history, those are students that you will have or may have or may not have, because another teacher has them within your grade level. But they're all students that could be your students. But we don't know where or how we're going to set up students yet until we have the parent-teacher conferences. So during the parent-teacher conference, you're going to find out if this family is one that would like to come to school or wants to remain remote. Depending on how many students want to stay remote depends on the caseload and how we separate students out. Because I think it makes more sense if we just have one teacher designated as our online teacher, and those students would go with that teacher. And we have an in-school teacher, and those students would go with the in-school teacher. Then we have our additional content that would be posted online, and depending on the grade level, we'll work out how we manage that. So basically, you've been given a sheet of names to make an arrangement for a parent-teacher conference. They may or may not be your student, so what you're doing is making a connection on behalf of the school, not necessarily as their particular teacher. And so when you have the conference, you would just say, or when you're making the contact with the family, you're just going to say, hello, I am one of the teachers who could possibly be assigned as your child's teacher for next year within this grade level, or however you want to phrase it, depending on if you're grade level or if you're a middle school teacher. So I'm one of the middle school teachers, or I'm one of the third grade teachers in our third grade team, or what have you. So this is just to spread the load until we know where students are going to be assigned. So you're going to make the contact today. You're going to send out the Sign Up Genius today. Today. Needs to be today. This is a deadline that cannot be missed. I've told parents that a teacher from our school will contact them on the 3rd. So today is the 3rd, and that must happen. If you are finding that you're having trouble with Sign Up Genius or making a contact or doing whatever you need to do, please let me know right away and we will help you, but that has to happen today. It's really, really important because our parents are sort of floundering around out there, not knowing what's going on. People are making assumptions. People are signing up for homeschool because they don't think that they can do school with us, when honestly, what's the difference at this point? If we give them the content or they get the content online from another place, but it's hard to explain that. It's hard to make parents understand that. And so I need you to be timely and involved and connected with our families, because I can't do it by myself, 400 students. I need your help to stay connected. And so you might be the only person from our school who is making these contacts with these families for right now. So I need you to represent the school. So please make sure this goes out today. Sign Up Genius. You're going to invite them to a parent-teacher conference. And the way I need you to invite them is I need you to do a little welcome to Hozho, a little note that says that you are who you are, a little bit about your background and what you're going to be working on this year, and that you're so glad that they are here and you're looking forward to this year. It's going to be challenging, but you know it's going to be worthwhile in the end, blah, 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 like that. Please send me your welcome letter before you send it out. So you could do it as a video if you'd rather, and that's fine too. So either a video or a short little note that welcomes the family, says that you're one of the middle school teachers or you're one of the third grade teachers or whatever it is that you are, and that you're wanting to set up a time for them to come in and you want to talk to them about what their choices are for school for next year. And the times are on the 10th and 11th, so next Monday and Tuesday. Be as flexible as you can. I know that this year, or if it was last year, we probably would not be doing evening. We wouldn't be actually doing parent-teacher conferences at all if it was a normal year. But we're starting off the year because a lot of parents have anxiety about this year and what's going to happen. And part of our job is to help these families feel comfortable with us and our school. So I need us to do our best with that. So after inviting them to Monday or Tuesday, now, like I said, if this was last year, I wouldn't ask you to do evenings, but unfortunately, that's just the nature of, just be as flexible as you can. When you put your Sign Up Genius together, put times together that will leave you enough time to talk to them, so no less than 15 minutes. If you're doing them in school, some parents may opt to come to school, and if you're okay with coming to school, then do that. If you're not okay with coming to school, but the parent absolutely wants to come to school, then contact somebody in your grade level team and switch out that conference. You take one of theirs and they'll take one of yours. So it can happen on Zoom. You can do FaceTime. You could do a phone call. Please do not get caught up in, I'm using my own phone, I'm using my own computer, please. if it's means so much to you, please come to the school and I will give you what you need, but don't let those be stopping points for you to do what needs to be done. These families are counting on us, and I'm counting on you. So be as flexible as possible. Meet with everybody on your list. What you're going to do is you're going to go over this form, and this has been sent to you, so you hopefully have it right now to look at. And you're just going to put the student's name and the student's grade on it, because you're going to turn these in to me as soon as they're completed, because the whole admin team has to figure out who's coming to school, when are they coming to school, how are they coming to school, whose class are they in. They have to be the same time as their brother and sister who's also in another class, and is that class full? So there's a lot of logistics that go into setting up these schedules, so we need them as soon as possible. So you're going to go through the options. So the first section says just the student name and the student grade. The next is, do they have siblings? So what we're going to have you do is we're going to have you put down if they have siblings and what grade they are in, and also if they are carpooling with anybody. If they do want to come to school, we have a number of families who provide carpooling. And so we just need to know if they need to be here at the same time as somebody else that's providing a carpool access to the school. So the choices for school, so let's go over that a little bit. Right now, the governor has said that we may not have kids here at the school until after September 8th. However, we can have students who are special needs, and we can have kids who are at risk. And then starting on the 8th, we can have small groups of students, kindergarten through 4th grade. Because our middle school starts with 5th grade, we're not allowed to bring middle school students back to school. So unless they are at risk or special needs. And so what you want to do is just get the family's preference, regardless of whether or not they're allowed to come back or when they're allowed to come back. So the choices on this list are: 1, I prefer my child to be fully remote. No in-school time, no meetings, no conferences, nothing at the school. Completely 100% remote. Or, I prefer my child to receive primarily remote learning with an occasional visit to the school with a check-in with the teacher, possibly at school, but check-in, most of the things will be done online. Another is, I prefer my child to have some distance learning, but attend school half day at least once a week. I prefer my child to have access to distance learning as well as attend in school half days twice a week. I prefer my child to have access to distance learning but attend school as many days as possible. The most we're probably going to be able to do is 4 days a week for a half day. That's probably going to be the most. So regardless of whether they're a kindergarten student or special ed student, regardless of if they're what grade they're in, have them choose as if there are no other criteria other than the pandemic and we have a hybrid situation. Not about September 8th, don't worry about the dates or choosing what they want now and choosing what they want later. Just have them choose what they would choose on this list if that wasn't an issue. And then you're going to talk to them about the days that we have available. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday are the days that we could have in-school sessions. It also says on this form the times that they're allowed to have sessions: 8:30 to 11:30, 12:45 to 3:45, and we've also added to 4:30 to 7:30. A number of you have said that you were okay if we switched your schedule around. You could sleep in and come in a little bit later. I don't know how many people are going to opt to do that, but I just put it on there just so that we get a sense of that. So let's say a student wants to come in once a week. So what days are options? Not what do they want, but what days are okay? Because if they say I can only come Monday, then then indicate that it's only Monday that they can come in. Not that they want Monday, but that that's the only day that they could. Because that might eliminate them. They may not be able to come in. If Monday is full because we have a number of special needs students or something else is going on and we can't have that number of students, they may not be able to come to school if that's the only day they choose. So what days are okay for them to choose? Can they come on a Tuesday if we made them a time on a Tuesday? Could they come on Friday? Could they come on Thursday? Or is one day particularly kind of off limits? So circle the days that are options for that family. Circle the times that are options for that family. Next thing we're going to do is find out, do they need anything? Do they need a Chromebook? For me, I feel like it's not a very good use of our resources. We're not a huge district where we can go and just buy thousands of computers because we have, you know, a couple $1 million in reserve. That's not our story. So we just don't have resources to give every single student, regardless of whether they need it, a new computer. But we do have the resources to give computers and tablets to students who need them, who don't otherwise have access. So what you want to do is check with your families and say, do you need a Chromebook in order to access it? And they say yes or no. And if they do, we're going to find a Chromebook for them, and there's a spot that we're going to issue them a Chromebook with a serial number and a way for us to track which Chromebook it is. We're not probably going to hand it to them during the parent-teacher conference. They'll probably have to come and pick it up at a later time, but Joe and I have to work out those details. But you'll know them before the 10th or 11th when you have your parent-teacher conference. But just as far as going through this form, I don't know yet how that distribution will take place. You also need to ask your family if they need internet support. I did a survey for our families, and out of 92% of our families said they had adequate internet support. Of course, the survey was electronic email, so maybe the people who don't have access couldn't access the survey to tell me that they didn't have access. So it's still possible that there's a number of families out there who do not have internet service. So if they do not have internet service, then we need to know, do they have cell service? If they have cell service, then we can help them with a hotspot. If they do not have cell service, then a hotspot won't work. So we can give them a flash drive. We can tell them of some, we'll look up their address. We can tell them of some areas that have internet access. They're welcome to drive to our parking lot and use the parking lot if they wanted to. Or do they want to do a pencil paper packet? So hopefully we don't have a lot of that, but we'll see what happens. Transportation is the next thing on the list. So as you know, or if you don't know because you're new here, Gallup Express does some exclusive routes for our students. They'll go around and pick up our students and bring them to school and take them home at the end of the day. I don't know that that's going to be feasible for this year because we're talking about half days, and by the time we would send somebody out to go get somebody, bring them back, it's time to send them back out, but they can only have so many on the bus at one time. So it's really not, we have some limited opportunities for transportation. So if they absolutely cannot get their kids here, and we, again on that survey, most families said 92 or 95% said yes, they can provide transportation. So if they cannot, then we need to know, and we'll make arrangements for that family and figure out, you know, where are they located, how often are they coming to school, that sort of thing. Meals. Hopefully by the time that parent-teacher conferences happen, we have the new form, because as of right now, they still have to fill out the form to indicate whether they qualify for free or reduced lunch. So we'll get them the form if that's still the case, unless the federal government gives us a waiver and says that we can do it like we did this summer, where anybody 18 and under is eligible for a free meal. To the time that I'm doing this video, I don't have that confirmation. So we'll have to give them a form to fill out to qualify for meals. Meals will be provided in the school, so if a student comes to school in the morning, they'll be given their breakfast in the classroom, and at lunch they'll be delivered a lunch in the classroom. If the child comes in the afternoon, lunch will be delivered, and then a breakfast for the next day will be sent home with them. If parents are opting for fully remote, they can still come to the school and pick up their meals right here at the school. And I believe there is a waiver right now so that the kids don't have to be with the parents at the time they pick up the meals, and I think they can pick up a whole week's worth of meals. I'll verify that and get back to you on it. And we need a kind of a head count of how many meals we need to be providing. So that's on the form as well. Mrs. Neff has offered to do musical instrument lessons with our students. This is another opportunity that we otherwise wouldn't have. She has a studio downtown, and she is offering, I think, piano and guitar for kids who are not in middle school students. We've already purchased all of their string instruments, so they may learn to play a string instrument. And if they do that, they can also do piano or guitar in addition, but strings are the first choice for middle school students. If they would like those music lessons, then indicate yes or no on this sheet, and Mrs. Neff will get in touch with them. I'm not sure how that's going to work with September 8th and whether students can come back or not, or how that's going to work, but at least we'll know how many people are interested in that. They would have to provide transportation to that program. Also, we have a choice of languages, so Navajo and Spanish are always two choices, and like I said, French is another option. They can choose to have French. In the next section, there's a little spot here for families to share questions or concerns that they have for the year. Please jot something down there if the parent says, I'm worried about my child's social interactions. I'm worried about my child's anxiety. I'm worried about how well the school is going to take safety and cleanliness seriously, or along those lines. Whatever it is, put something down there that has come up in the course of your conversation so that we can address some of those concerns. And then you're going to sign it, or the parent will sign it, or you can just write over phone call or over Zoom and the time and the date that this conference happened. Then you'll give this form to us here in the office, to the admin office, to me. You can hand it to me directly, and we'll make some notes on it below as to whether or not, what the schedule will be and whether or not that student receives any additional services. Next thing to talk about is the employee handbook will be given to you electronically. You'll need to sign the last page acknowledging that you understand what the policies are. One thing that I'd like to talk to you about in our code of conduct is the use of social media and how we conduct ourselves in our classrooms this year, or on Zoom call or on your online platform. So, I'm a real believer in freedom of speech and being able to say what you want to say. It is a little dicey, though, if you have a social media account in which you have family members or members of that, or friends. I speak in terms of not understanding how these things work because I don't use social media, so sorry. So anyway, you may have parents who are friends on your social media accounts. Then you may find that in this election year, or during this pandemic, or in all of the tensions and all the sort of public protests of various things have been going on this year. Each one of us have our own views on that, and I respect you for your views, and I'm not asking you to keep them to yourself necessarily, But what you have to understand is that as an employee of the school, if you have parents who are friends on your social media accounts and you say certain things to them, you have to understand that they may not agree. We cannot be getting into situations where parents are arguing with teachers about political things, about who they support for a president, for example, in this election year. As I said last year at our training, if I know who you would have voted for, then then you've shared too much, because those things should be neutral as possible in the classroom. We are not here to indoctrinate one way or another our students. And sometimes teachers cannot help themselves and they wind up saying things like, student may say, well, who are you going to vote for president? And the teacher will say, I'm not allowed to tell you, but his name rhymes with jump, or I'm not allowed to tell you, but the first letter is B. We cannot be doing stuff like that. You are a professional person and you have a duty, and your duty is to remain neutral for your students. You are not to indoctrinate students in one form of political or social belief or another. There are some areas, some gray areas out there, I'm sure. And if you're not sure about how to approach it, especially within our curriculum, I mean, sometimes we find things and we think, well, I don't think we should be talking about this. I don't think we should kind of, we have a Western civilization curriculum, and it's not always been sensitive to certain populations. And sometimes we need to be aware of that, not that we think that we're going to not share those things or not share that piece of information with students, but we may not do it when they're in kindergarten. We might do it when they're in high school and can think on their own and have clear opinions about that. Because if we do it when they're young, then it sounds too much like indoctrination, and I don't want to indoctrinate anybody into one form of belief or another. We want free thinkers here. So be careful what you say on social media. If somebody says something and you agree or disagree, or you like or you don't like, or whatever it is that people do on social media, it's a reflection, to some extent, on you as an extension of Hozho. So just be aware of that, please. Try to be as neutral as possible. Keep some of your stuff private, so you can have a private account or something like that, and share it with a group of friends. Not everything you say has to go out to the entire world. So a parent, we don't want to be getting in arguments with parents. The other thing that happens is parents contact me and they say, I don't want my child in that person's classroom. What am I supposed to do? You might be the only teacher that's available for that class, but because you've made some statements online that people don't agree with, then I got to deal with that. And then we have to figure out, okay, well, if nobody wants to be in your classroom, how are we going to keep you on as a teacher? So let's just not go to that place, and try to be as neutral as possible, social media, and try to be as neutral as possible in the classroom. Our school does have an attorney, Dan Hill, who will be sending out a training on that. It's a PowerPoint for you to look through and make sure that you're in alignment with the school's policies on that. Normally we would not be having you email students. We would keep those things separate, but obviously this is an unusual year, and so your conversations with students or their families, even if they bait you and say, how about this, or don't you agree with this, and even if you do, don't get baited into that. Just say that you respect their opinion, and just change the subject, or don't respond at all. Just find a way, and if you need help, let me know. This year, for our focus for our professional development plans, each teacher has to put in a professional development plan. We have a goal, and the goal is going to be around Singapore math for all of those who teach math. There are some of you who don't teach math, will have no time, you know, our middle school history, middle school science, they don't teach math. So, or middle school ELA. But or if you're doing primarily literacy work. But most of you will be doing Singapore math. We'll be connecting with Nicholas Wagner. If you're a new staff member, I sent you the videos, the link for all the videos for the math. It wouldn't hurt also to watch the classical education. What is classical education? Intro to that. But the math videos are, oh my gosh, a bird just hit the window. Oh my gosh. Did you hear that? I got goosebumps. That scared me. Anyway, moving on. The PLCs this year will be all around Singapore math if you're a math teacher. If you're not, I have another plan for you. I'll get to that. But that probably won't start until September. We're going to take the month of August to get going on Canvas and to be successful with this online platform as much as possible. So I thought if we tried to put Singapore math on top of this right now, it would be too much. I really am trying to be aware of what's too much. It's too much to have a teacher trying to do in-school instruction and doing online instruction. So that's why we want to separate that out. It's too much to try to do professional development on math, which is our goal for the year right now, when we are trying to do all this Canvas learning and how to do hybrid and how to not catch the coronavirus. So more on that to come. Testing responsibilities. So we are going to have to test this year in some way, shape, or form. The reason that we have to test is because we're a charter school, we have to apply for a renewal of our charter. If we have no information to share as to how our students are growing or learning, they can say, no, you do not get to renew your charter. No one really had any idea that the timing of us getting our charter to start with and how school has been going in the pandemic and all, no one had any idea how this would impact us. But when we opened, we had 110 students. We have 400 students now. We took the park with how many students? 35, 40 students took the park the first year. And now we have 400 students. Nobody took the park last year. Probably won't take the park this year. We probably won't take it next year. And then we got to go apply for our new charter. And what evidence do we have that our students have made any progress? They're going to ask. I don't care that there's been a pandemic. Prove it. We are going to, but we still have to do iStation. So for kindergarten through second grade, iStation. And we already know that iStation results don't align with our curriculum. And so our students do terribly on iStation. So not only do we not have any good data to show, but we have plenty of bad data to show the state to say that our students aren't learning anything. And we know that's not true, because I know a student who is doing terribly on the iStation comes in here and sits and opens a book and starts reading. But according to his iStation results, he should not be able to read. So, but clearly he can read. It's just that we don't do the technology piece and not enough, so the iStation results don't always come out. So we have to do NWEA. So the NWEA, the MAPS test, we're going to give that the third week of school. So I have a paper that has the dates. So on the 10th and 11th, you're going to meet with families. 13th and the 14th is the start of school. That's going to be remotely. For the first 2 weeks, we're just going to, for that partial week and the next week, we're just going to be giving some activities for students to do that are on Canvas, that are nice and easy. Just show that they can get on, that we can post things, and how to take a quiz, how to download something, how to respond to an article, that sort of thing. So we want them to take the test the following week. Now, I'm looking for my phone, but I'm videoing on my phone, which is why I can't find my phone. It's like looking for your glasses when you're wearing them or they're on your head or whatever. So I don't have a calendar because it's on my phone, so I don't know exactly what day it is. But the week of August 31st is the first week of actual content. So the week before that, which I think is like ends at the 22nd or something like that, the 17th or 22nd, maybe something like that, that we are going to do the NWEA testing. That testing is going to have to be proctored by most of us. So you'll be given a list of maybe 5 students, and we'll have some information on how to do that coming up. We have Reagan Wielden. Oh my goodness, Joyce. I didn't mention Joyce as our PE teacher. I'm so sorry, Joyce. Joyce Biley is our PE teacher and our special education teacher. And she's joining us this year. Her children go to our school. So I'm so sorry, Joyce, that I left your name off at the beginning. So she's a new teacher, new to us, who's also been in Gallup-McKinley schools, very experienced teacher. She's helping us with our testing. And so Reagan and Joyce and Susan Wilson will be reaching out to you and giving you information about how we're going to do the testing, who your students will be. Don't worry. That's coming later. Class materials kits. So I've asked everybody to do their first quarter syllabus by the 14th. I believe that's the date on here. I can scroll down. That I have in front of me. Let's take a look. So on the 14th, first quarter syllabus. Yes, I'd like to have your first quarter syllabus done by the 14th. The reason for that is we need to know if your students need any materials. So, for example, in science, I know they need a science notebook, and a couple of grade levels need a graduated cylinder. So we've already ordered those things. Some of the different classes might need something. PE has a whole kit all by itself. Art probably has a kit. We need to gather up those materials, and so I need by the 14th, your first quarter, your syllabus. What are you going to teach? What are the lessons going to be? What do the students need? All lined out. This is not a curriculum map with like 2 words. This is what are you going to teach? Maybe it doesn't have to be detailed as a full lesson plan, but it is not a curriculum map. This is a syllabus that tells us what the materials are, what the kids are going to do, what the assignment is going to be, and for first quarter. So if you do that, then I know what materials I need to order. And so we'll put kits together, and we'll either have parents pick up when they pick up the meals, or we'll have them delivered to the families. We've talked a little bit more about the overview of online learning and hybrid learning. I'll get some more information to you about that. I think this video is almost an hour long so far. So what I'm going to do is stop right now, and then I will continue on with online hybrid teaching, more information about that, assignments, what they'll look like, grading, using Canvas, and communicating with families in the second video. So I'm going to stop here for a little bit and have part 2. Stay tuned.